celebrate. They have done it.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with the last aftermath of the season, the show that we do after the dust has settled on the post-match reaction for Newcastle United's latest game, which Mark did very well, a 1-0 defeat against Everton. But it didn't matter because we may have lost the battle, but we won the war for Champions League football. Newcastle United finished 5th, and there you go, we are back in the big time, baby. The Champions League. Dust your passport off, get ready to send those Mackems a postcard from Milan. We're back in the big time, and we had to be. We really had to be. I wish we would have won the game. It was a dreadful game, probably one of Newcastle's worst performances of the season, to be honest with you. Alexander Isak obviously made the cut. There was a lot of rumours going around beforehand. He made the cut. He was in the starting 11, and we thought that Isak's presence would, give the team an edge, a drive to do something, but it just didn't. Everyone was just really, really poor. I just didn't think we needed that extra centre half. I think Everton had a game plan. They rocked up. They definitely showed up to play and show up to get a result. And they did. Jordan Pickford was great in goal, made some great saves. Pope made some good saves as well, but he couldn't keep out the header from Alcaraz that ended up winning the game with the only goal of the game. And there wasn't really anything from Newcastle. Some flashes from Sandro Tonali. He's out rusty. But it didn't matter at the end. I'm not going to sit here and rant and rave about the game because it didn't matter. We didn't need it in the end. It was an agonisingly long wait for Newcastle to get to that final part where the scores came in. You can't get a signal in James's Park. Please, for the love of God, if there's a new stadium on the horizon, have a better phone signal. Jesus, especially for days like this. But we were all refreshing our phones. The guy next to me, I was refreshing my phone trying to see what was going on. Aston Villa were getting beat by Manchester United, and Emi Martinez got sent off. Thanks for that, by the way, Emi. Really helped us. But unbelievable that we had to rely on a shit Manchester United to get the job done, to get us in the Champions League. Probably something we'll have thrown back at us by Manchester United fans. But you know what? One good turn deserves another because, we qualified for the Europa League positions and then you guys didn't, and you won the FA Cup and you took our place. So the way I see it, that's karma balancing itself out. But full-time whistle blew. The Champions League music played. The DJ was on point, by the way. Well done. Absolutely brilliant. The crowd went mad. We all stayed for the lap of honour. I was going to bring this aftermath from the ground, but sadly, I was kicked out by the stewards. I was waiting for people to empty out. I was going to get Newcastle United in the background, the big black letter in the ground, but I couldn't. They kicked me out because they said they were going to lock the door. So I had to wait a little bit. I had way too many beers celebrating the Champions League positions to get on and do this for you. So I'm still suffering a little bit this morning. But yeah, unbelievable achievement from Eddie Howe and these lads. No first team players for 3 windows. That means we can spend in the summer, and I think we're already going to start that ball rolling very, very soon. The window opens next week. I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle have a couple of early deals in the bank. Callum Wilson was waving an emotional goodbye. You can see at the end there. We'll talk about that later on. Me and Mark are doing the show later on. We'll talk about that. I think Wilson's gone, and I wouldn't be surprised if Delap comes to Newcastle United. I really have a good feeling about that move, and I think that's going to happen. Brian Mbeumo, I really hope that does get pushed through because that's a game-changing player that we need in this first team squad. But I saw Paul Mitchell. I was lucky enough to be in the hospitality area. Thank you very much to my anonymous benefactor who gave me that ticket. Thank you so much. But Paul Mitchell was running around looking like a very busy man. So hopefully he is a busy man. He's getting these deals done early doors. But unbelievable achievement from Newcastle United to get back in the Champions League for the second time in 3 years. Just incredible scenes. I really hope this time we make a better fist of it than we did the last time. But we also have to balance the Premier League and the domestic cup, so we need a bigger squad, a better squad of quality, so when you're shuffling players around that the quality doesn't dip off as much as it did in the previous Champions League campaign. But we've got loads to discuss. Me and Mark are on the end of the season show later on tonight. We're going to do all of our player awards. We're going to talk about this game, talk about key moments of the season, talk about who's the biggest disappointment, and then talk a little bit about what happens next for Newcastle. So keep it evermore, guys. Tune in for that tonight. Let us know what you think in the chat, who your player of the seasons are, etc., etc. We'll see you later on. Unbelievable. However, lads, bring on the Champions League. Dust your passports off. We're headed back to the big time, baby. See you later. Take care.
Heroes celebrate. They have done it.